Prepare yourself for one more trip to the grid. After a decade of delays, it seems that Disney is prepared to deliver a third movie in the Tron franchise. The first movie became an instant classic after it premiered in 1982, but it took a while for a sequel to happen. The plans for a threequel were neglected because of a packed Disney release schedule. But now, the studio is ready for Tron 3. It's been a decade since the last time viewers wandered into Flynn's arcade and were taken to a technological dream world with a score by Daft Punk in Tron Legacy, but it is still unclear when the viewers will be transported back. In the next couple of years, with the release of the second Tron movie, there has been speculation for Tron 3, but there hasn't been a movie brought to the theaters. But Tron 3, fortunately, isn't some abandoned movie announced before getting the rug pulled out from below its feet. In the 10 years since it was released for the first time, there have been many starts and stops, renewals, and more. And oddly enough, in a period where the film industry is changing, it feels like there's more flow in this old arcade machine than ever before. Back in late 2010, soon before the release of Tron Legacy, it was announced that Disney was tossing around the idea of bringing back the franchise with a third movie. There were only a few details, and even if there were, what developed into Tron 3 went through lots of changes in the next couple of years. But Disney was on board. Things changed after the release of the flopping sequel in December 2010, but only a month after the sci-fi action thriller premiered at the theaters, the House of Mouse was still on board with the plan to continue the franchise in the future. That enthusiasm would resume into the summer of 2011, as in June of that year, it was announced that David DiGilio, whose biggest project to that point was the ABC fantasy drama series Once Upon a Time, had been appointed to write a screenplay. Nothing new was happening on the Tron 3 front for almost 4 years, until March 2015, when a Twitter account exposed that the film would be titled Tron Ascension. But that wasn't all. Also, smash that like button if you haven't done so already. According to the Production Weekly Twitter account, Tron Legacy director Joseph Kosinski would be coming back to the director's chair when the production started in October 2015, running through February 2016. Apart from the alleged name, production start date, and Kosinski's participation, there wasn't any additional information at that time. In May 2015, The Hollywood Reporter announced that the studio was putting its Tron 3 plans on hold and putting the figurative tap back onto the old arcade machine. No reasons were given as to why Disney backed off from the video game-based sci-fi franchise, but the report mentioned that the studio was working on getting Jared Leto involved before realizing that a deal couldn't be made. Although Tron 3 seemed like it would never happen as the summer 2015 film season began, it wouldn't be the culmination for Tron or Jared Leto, whose engagement would only increase when the project was renewed a few years later. Yet new details were on the way, only it wasn't what anybody wanted to listen to. Before we begin getting very excited about Tron 3, there is an important thing to warn you about. As reported by Deadline, the movie hasn't been officially greenlit yet. They do consider the fact that Davis being secured to direct after a long time of stagnancy related to the project is a positive sign that will move it forward. But for now, the movie is still in the earliest and most delicate phase of development. Another piece of information from Deadline's report is that a draft of this screenplay has already been written, which means if and when it gets a green light, that's one less step in the process. All in all, this means that right now, there is no release date in sight. Considering this, it feels like we won't be seeing Tron 3 before 2022, or possibly even 2023. Even though that's not good news, fans waited for 10 years for the second installment, so a couple of more hanging in there for a third should be a breeze. When it was confirmed that Jared Leto would be in the new Tron movie, fans wondered about whom he would play. In Tron Legacy, Garrett Hedlund played Sam Flynn, while Olivia Wilde was portraying Quora. But it didn't take a while for fans to discover whom Leto would play, since it was announced that he would be a new character. Ares, you might remember, was mentioned in Tron Legacy as one of the Resistance leaders. With Leto playing the part, it seems the movie would be centered on his character. Here is what Leto said about the casting in Tron 3. Quote, "I'm struck with such gratitude for the opportunity to bring this movie to life, especially as both the original video game and the film affected me so deeply as a young child. The fact that I get to be part of this new chapter is mind-blowing. I am so very excited and proud to confirm that yes, I will be starring in Tron. We will work as hard as we possibly can to create something that I hope you will all love. We have some very special ideas in store for you all." With Jared Leto playing the lead role in Tron 3, it raises the question of whom the viewers will see in the movie. Both Hedlund and Wilde had been hired for a sequel back in 2015, but Disney abandoned the idea for that movie, so their status is now uncertain. Will we get an adaptation of Jeff Bridges once again? What about the original Tron, Bruce Boxleitner? Both actors of the original made an appearance in Tron Legacy. Would they return for the third installment? Sadly, there is no information on any of the cast members joining Leto for Tron 3. Disney has been silent about the story of Tron 3. The first two films used high-concept sci-fi filmmaking to intertwine narratives about the fight against tyrannical class structures. Even though there are no details about the plotline for the third movie, it is expected to continue that tradition. Something unlikely to happen is for Tron 3 to follow the plotline that started in Tron and was continued in Tron Legacy. As reported by Variety, the third movie won't be a direct sequel to either of the previous movies. This is understandable, since the period that has passed and the fact that the finale of the second movie holds up as the ending to that specific narrative. And certainly, the bigger world made by those first two movies gives lots of support to create a new narrative. With that in mind, when Tron 3 was initially in development, it was supposed to be a direct sequel with Tron Legacy stars returning, according to The Hollywood Reporter. Also, Leto was already assigned to the project back when it was a sequel. If it turns out that he will portray the same character, it will mean that even if it's a separate movie, there is still a powerful connection to the previous two films of the franchise. While the absence of details might be disappointing to some, knowing that the movie will be a fresh story opens the way for speculation. Will some of the franchise's previous actors come back? Will we see some type of major time jump? How will the next movie continue developing the world of the grid? What's left is to wait until Tron 3 makes progress to find out. There is also a great amount of mystery around Tron 3 regarding its official title, and things got only worse in August 2020 when Jared Leto tweeted and then deleted a message leaking the title as Tron Ares. Disney never confirmed nor denied the Twitter slip, and everyone was smashing that subscribe button and ringing that notification bell, and was left speculating about the official name of Tron 3. You will love these videos next!